Irish guy, and alright, let's take a look at what happened in the Premier League this weekend. Yes, my elbow is a little bit better for anyone that cares. And smash the big fat red subscribe button, you absolute legends. Anyway, right, let's go. Everton 1, Man United 0. Cristiano Ronaldo deserves prison. Shove him in a cell with Big Kevin from Hull, deprive him of Botox for the next 10 years, and feed him a diet of wet porridge and stale donkey meat. Living in a world where he now has to wash his face in the sink. And yeah, let's see what he looks like then when he gets out in the year 2035. I mean, no longer Portugal's answer to Channing Tatum. Nah, it'll probably look a bit like if Jim Carrey ironed his face. But we have seen the uproar, right? I only skimmed the headlines, but apparently Ronaldo's just punched a little boy in the eye, right? I mean, he probably sent a death threat to his mum for good measure, tracked down their house and kicked their puppy in the teeth. Right? Right? And apparently, according to the papers, an underage boy was assaulted at Goodison Park. Now, I know what you're thinking. I thought they suspended that guy for the season. But no, it wasn't that unnamed 31-year-old footballer who was no longer invited to any birthday parties in Reykjavik. No, it's Ronaldo. I mean, what's happened here is that Manchester United, a team clearly on the beach and with a walking, talking microwave at the back, they've managed to somehow lose to Everton. But are we really that shocked? I would hope these Everton players would have wanted the 3 points more than a Man United team whose season is lying dead in a ditch, and with a manager who's only got a month left in the job. Of course they were always going to lose that match. I mean, crazy, it's like knowing that your wife is 4 weeks away from walking out the door and you're already talking to some Dutch woman on the internet. I mean, I don't really think you're gonna have the motivation to cook her breakfast in the morning. Instead, she'll be lucky if you left her enough milk for her Weetabix. But these Man United players, they are ready for the summer. So no, I'm not shocked by this. If Frank Lampard wasn't able to get his relegation threatened Everton players up for this one, then clearly he would have the motivational ability of expired eggnog. But Ronaldo, what happened? He was limping off the pitch and he snapped, allegedly slapping the phone out of a 14-year-old boy's hand, leaving his mother to claim that he assaulted her son. I'm going to say this now. Please leave the boy alone. Honestly, his mother stuck up a photo of his bruise on the internet, and now the kid's face is in every paper. He doesn't need this, he's 14. When I was his age, I had so much acne, I looked like a walking slice of pepperoni. I would not want my face on the back pages of the Irish Times. And no, lady, you don't know what you're doing. Taking on Ronaldo in social media, it is like attacking an army. You might as well fly to Cameroon and wage war against our president. It's not clever. I mean, there's a guy with nearly 500 million followers on Instagram. Honestly, if you write on Twitter that Ronaldo's legs have gone, you're probably gonna have someone stuffing a dead dog through your letterbox. I just know this woman will spend the weekend flooded with DMs from enraged 13-year-old fanboys. Honestly, there's probably some kid in Sri Lanka threatening to burn down her house. She's probably got 12-year-olds from the west coast of Trinidad saying that she looks like a pregnant horse.
Well, a lovely game of the match turned into me and Jake with the police. Can't believe I'm saying this, but Ronaldo smashed Jake's phone out of his hand while he was recording him coming off at full time.
Putting Ronaldo's name in capitals makes it sound a little bit like you're starstruck.
Oh, Ronaldo picked my son to slap. Did he pick yours?
Ronaldo then said this.
I would like to apologise for my outburst, and if possible, I would like to invite the supporter to watch a game at Old Trafford as a sign of fair play and sportsmanship.
Fair play and sportsmanship? What? Giving an Everton fan tickets to watch you draw 0-0 with Norwich? Maybe instead of offering him an afternoon that sounds less appealing than sleeping in a public bin, maybe buy the kid a new phone?
The mother of the boy who had his phone smashed by Cristiano Ronaldo has revealed their son had struggled to sleep after the incident and says that he never wants to see Ronaldo again.
So I guess that's a no to the match tickets then. But I mean, again, the dialogue here sounds a bit like what you'd hear in Home and Away. You know, when some heartbroken 16-year-old finds out that that blonde surfer guy with the six-pack has been porking her mum on the couch. But listen, this incident reminds me of when Conor McGregor did the same thing in Miami 3 years ago and was arrested. Except this one was worse, because at least that was a grown man. This was a teenage boy. Oh, it's not a good look, Cristiano. Ronaldo's one of the most famous people on planet Earth. Every opposition supporter is excited to see him. How many phones do you think he's had shoved in his face? Every single day of his life. So getting angry about a phone aimed at you, it's like getting angry because you see a cloud in the sky. Honestly, he should have known better than this. It's not good. Face up, Cristiano. It's not as if he was filming you in the shower. He was pointing it at your knee in your workplace. And especially when you've just seen the whole world stop because of one megastar slapping someone in the face. But Ronaldo, do you want to be the next Will Smith? Did you look at all the attention he was getting and think,
Oh, I want a piece of that?
no, no, just no. And honestly, I feel bad for the kid. Yeah, you might all think that his mother is milking this story as if it's a pregnant cow. But honestly, the last thing a 14-year-old boy needs is for his mother sticking up on social media as they both try to wage war against the Ronaldo army. And imagine it's very embarrassing for the kid, so please, honestly lads, just leave him alone. Man City 2, Liverpool 2. Incredible match. How often do these Super Sunday title decider matches actually live up to their billing? Yes, Liverpool did well, and honestly, Ederson nearly became the biggest meme of 2022. If this had trickled under his foot and gone in, Ozzy, forget all the Premier League titles, he'd just be known as Brazil's answer to Peter Enkelman. The fact he had the composure to pass this out of trouble. I mean, most goalies would panic as Diogo Jota hurtles in like a train. Ozzy, this is like out of a movie. Like Wolverine casually strolling away from a building about to explode. I mean, most goalies would panic and stretch to wildly lash the ball before their entire leg seizes up with cramp. I remember thinking that Pep was mad to dump Joe Hart at the time, but oh lads, if this was Hart in this position, I'm pretty sure he'd have shown the composure of Mr. Bean on the plane and he'd have wound up in a crumpled mess in the back of the net. Listen, Liverpool did brilliantly, but City did have 11 shots to 6. Raheem Sterling was millimeters away from scoring the winning goal against the club he stormed out of. I mean, I'm pretty sure that goal would have made Liverpool fans feel like chewing on a toaster in the bath. But Riyad Mahrez, nearly 4 years ago, this man was ballooning a last-minute penalty over the bar in a title clash at Anfield. And now, yet again, more last-minute misery. I know it's a difficult skill, but you are a world superstar. I know you can chip the ball into an empty net from 20 yards out. Instead, the guy seemingly tries to pick out his grandma in the crowd. There's just something about Liverpool which always forces Mahrez to look like the villain at the end. Honestly, that's twice now Man City fans have had their heads in their hand at the end of a match against Liverpool because you messed up. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 4. I'm confused by this. This was a great first half performance from Aston Villa, and yet they still come off the pitch losing 4-0 at home to Spurs. What happened? But there's no better example of Son Heung-min showcasing that he's a modern day Gareth Bale at Spurs than this, because a good 10 years ago, Bale also grabbed a Villa Park hat-trick in a 4-0 win. Honestly, this used to be a close mid-table battle, but now Tottenham have won on the last 8 visits here. 3 of those matches were 4-0 wins. They haven't actually lost here since New Year's Day 2008, so don't be too surprised. But listen, the English media have been licking Harry Kane's toes for years, right? I mean, this is the Tottenham superstar linked with Manchester City every minute. But I'm gonna say this, the fact that no big super club have ever put in a bid for Son Heung-min is a borderline disgrace. Forget the fact that he's the Asian Brad Pitt. We talk about influencers because they're able to sell a toothbrush on Reddit. No. Son can move mountains in South Korea. He is the reason that Tottenham are the most popular foreign club in that country. I think it took a while for this man to shake off the tag of being a Premier League flop, because he arrived at Tottenham for £22 million in 2015, and you could almost smell the stink of Asian Eric Lamela. He scored 4 goals in his debut season and was very nearly sold to Wolfsburg to replace Kevin De Bruyne. But no, since then, here are his numbers. 21 goals, 18 goals, 20 goals, 18 goals, 22 goals, and now 18 goals. Oh yeah, and just the 50 Premier League assists. Why does he not have more hype? Can you imagine if this man was British? If he was born in London or South Wales? The media would have dressed him up as Gareth Bale Part 2. But nobody has ever tried to buy him from Spurs. I don't understand it. This man is world class. Arguably the greatest Asian footballer of all time. The man turns 30 this summer, and so has managed to successfully navigate his way through his entire 20s without any serious monster bid. I don't understand it. Wait, look, this man is worshipped in Asia. He is held up on a pedestal with Jackie Chan, and yet in Europe, he's just seen as the modern day Ashley Young. But even he got to move to Manchester United. This is a world class superstar. His numbers don't lie. I'm gonna say it. He is a better footballer than Sadio Mane. He's unlucky. Had he not been so quick to join Tottenham in 2015 and waited just a year more, he might have wound up at Man City instead of Leroy Sané. He could have been unveiled at Anfield instead of Mane. I mean, apparently Brendan Rodgers wanted him from Hamburg 10 years ago. Can you imagine a front line of Firmino, Salah and Son? Instead of being a Tottenham nearly man, he could have been a Champions League winning Anfield megastar. Instead of being the guy who fights for 4th every year. But as we've seen the influence of Cristiano Ronaldo in Portuguese football work decades later to convince Bruno Fernandes to join Man United. Well, could they not have got Park Ji-sung to give Sonny a call in 2014? Ozzy, this man is world class. The world's biggest clubs, stop sleeping on Son. He's just gonna have the career of Aaron Lennon, spending nearly a decade winning nothing at Spurs. Good Christ. Arsenal won, Brighton 2. Oh, Arsenal, it's happening again. Now you're about to bottle top 4 all over again. Listen, brilliant football from Brighton. Absolutely insane, good team goal scored. But Arsenal, I mean, good Christ. I'm guessing somewhere out there, I'm guessing there's a passionate prison inmate screaming at his toilet bowl. But honestly, crunch point of the season. 2 games against Crystal Palace and Brighton, and you concede 5 and score 1. This is not good enough. Southampton 0, Chelsea 6. So it's official then. Southampton cannot go 1 season without getting absolutely demolished. But this isn't even a Ralph Hasenhüttl thing. It's a culture of the club. For the last 7 seasons, they've always had at least 1 match where they've conceded at least 5 goals. It's not good. And make no mistake about it, this could have been another 9-0. Lads, Chelsea's 6th goal was scored in 54 minutes, and then they decided to show mercy. Lads, Leicester's 6th goal scored on this ground was after 57 minutes. Honestly, Thomas Tuchel's boys left their foot off the gas. Honestly, the last person these fans wanted to see run the show was Mason Mount. You know, an avid Portsmouth fan who still to this day probably has photos of Bajani and Canoe on his bedroom walls. And don't even get me started on the goal scorers. Or the alleged goal scorer. Adam Armstrong, right now, he has about as much sporting credibility as his namesake Lance. You know, someone who used to drink pig laxatives on his bike. I mean, I don't know, I only ever really skimmed that Oprah interview. Watford 0, Leeds 3. Play the clip.
You know what? I think Leeds are getting relegated. I mean, it is a fixture list from hell. Yes, you've had the new manager bounce on a Jesse Marsch, but that usually wears off pretty quickly. And that fixture list, I see you picking up 4 points. You'll get a point at Watford, and you'll beat Brighton at home. The end. I'm sorry, but bye-bye Leeds.
This is awkward. I was confident, so confident that Leeds would go down. I did not trust Jesse Marsch, but yeah, those words have been rammed on my throat. I said Leeds wouldn't get more than 34 points. Well, guess what? They're on 33 points with 6 games left. But oh, Watford, you were going down with a whimper. I know Roy Hodgson pulled off the greatest game of Fulham, but that was 14 years ago. He's now an 80-year-old granddad who probably spends every match shivering on the bench. Poor old Watford though, honestly, for their owners, this run is a sackable offence. He was appointed on the 26th of January. Since then, they've taken 8 points from a possible 33. How they managed to grind out a clean sheet at Old Trafford, I have no idea. Because they've conceded 18 goals in 7 matches. Ben Foster probably now has arthritis in his back. Are these Watford owners too nice to sack an elderly gentleman? No, not at all. They're the type of James Bond villains who, if they were served an undercooked croissant, would instantly have the tea lady fetch at the sharks. Price well, Nigel Pearson was binned for less. Honestly, Roy, watch your back. Brentford 2, West Ham 0. A brilliant win for Brentford. And you've now got 4 wins in 5? Since Christian Eriksen has started playing football, Ivan Toney has gone from 6 goals in the Premier League to 12. Honestly, of all the transfers this season, Christian Eriksen has had the greatest effect. And he arrived on a free transfer. Ridiculous. This man has kept them up. Norwich 2, Burnley 0. If I'm a Burnley fan, I'm probably biting a chunk out of my bedroom wall. Honestly, Everton fans right now, they're in love with Norwich City. They're probably all sending love letters to Delia Smith. But Burnley, this is sheer frustration. Lads, you just beat and bullied Everton off the pitch in midweek, and we're just 1 point behind them. But this was a poor result. But just think, if Burnley hadn't battled back from 2-1 down to win that game against Everton, then lads, they'd be relegated now. They would be down. Instead of 4 points separating them at this stage of the season, then lads, there would be 10. And you'd now be joint bottom of the league. So make no mistake about it, Burnley are scrapping, but they're very close to relegation too. As for Norwich, yeah, good win. And Timo Pukki was fantastic, but it's all just a bit meh. Sure, they're going down fighting, but they are going down. Come on, that was your 2nd win at Carrow Road in 3 months. Honestly, if Norwich City stay up, I'll eat an entire bowl of Cocoa Pops off my nan's face. Newcastle 1, Wolves 0. Oh yeah, the Friday kickoff. Not a great game at all, but Chris Wood's penalty, crucial win for Newcastle, which should keep them up. But honestly, make no mistake about it, this is probably Newcastle's most impressive win of the season. Because to think, this team couldn't buy a win for the first 4 months of the campaign. And now you're taking all 3 points from a Wolves team, chasing down Europe. A team who recently won at Old Trafford, and who barely conceded any goals all season. Honestly, well done, Eddie Howe. Leicester 2, Crystal Palace 1. Didn't see the match. This is one of those pretty boring mid-table end-of-season games with nothing resting on it. Just a bit meh. Anyways, if you know what you think, let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe as always. Talk to you in a while.